Welcome back to the class, everyone. Today we are in our first match of the second week of 3v3. 3v3. We're up against this guy named Lumistar. Let's go ahead and take a look at his roster here real quick. We actually do have a lot of things that are pretty even across the board. He does have an advantage in relic levels, about 139, which isn't uncommon. And he also has a bunch more Omicrons than we do. He's all three of Malguses, as well as Admiral Ackbar. We don't have any of those going on. Mods we keep running into this kind of awkward mix, but it's okay. Where we have the advantage in the 20s and 25s, and our opponent has a decent amount of advantage in the plus 15s and the plus 10s. But that's pretty much it. We both have Rey. He does not have Profundity. That being said, a lot of people in my bracket do have Profundity, so that's something we're going to have to get used to going up against. But it looks like he's already... Oh, client must be restarted. So we'll be back right in a second. And here is what the board currently looks like. Our opponent has started attacking. We've been sticking with this front wall, like stone wall, in the position where I'm just putting all my best teams up front. We've got Lord Vader, we've got Malgus, we've got Starkiller, Gas, and JMK. Gas held once. I don't know when my opponents did this attack. I don't know if he's right in the middle of it or this is something that he's done like over a small amount of time. Again, other really good teams. Rey, Jedi Knight Luke, CLS. I have the Dash Crown up top, so I don't know. I don't know if it's just kind of picking a side or really what he's doing there. But his defense is okay. I think ours is a little bit stronger. So he does have Malgus, Rey, Starkiller, but then the teams do kind of start to drop off. There is a fairly weak Mon Mothma team in the bottom. He does have his own Lord Vader, but again, like JTR, Sortie, like these are okay teams, but they're not, it's nothing crazy. But let's see how we do against them all. All right, so here we go. So we're going to be taking in our Vader versus Rey. This is going to be kind of a new one. Haven't done this almost ever. We did take in Piet and Thrawn here just for extra assurance. They bring some really helpful things to the table, particularly Piet wiping off all the buffs, which means we're going to be able to actually crit Rey here. And we're going to go into Merciless Massacre first time every time. We're going to put our Force Crush directly on Rey. And then I'm going to always want a basic 3PO. 3PO is a rebel, which means that attack can never be missed nor resisted. So we're going to get it every single time. As you can see here, we're stacking damage pretty darn quickly because not only is Vader putting more dots out, but we're also getting Emperor's Trap to stack, which just adds raw offense. So now Rey already has 22 dots, and I'm a little scared right now. I probably should have pulled the trigger there, but she's almost at 50% health, which means she is going to go into damage immunity if we don't hit her and kill her. So we do end up hitting her and killing her, which was very, very nice. So now, yeah, I mean, that's the end of the round. I mean, it doesn't matter what else happens. There's no way we're going to be able to loop these two characters eternally. So I do Fracture 3PO just because he doesn't have to die, so he can actually stay in damage immunity for all I care. Take out Hold, and we actually get perfect banners on that. Thrawn really didn't do anything, but, you know, better safe than sorry. We're able to take in Jedi Knight Revan and some really good attackers now against the Starkiller team. Not the best Starkiller team, and in fact, I really don't like the breaks this opponent made, because number one, he made a Starkiller team weak enough that we could just go in and take it out with, say, Jedi Knight Revan, rather than having to blow a Galactic Legend on it, or a very risky battle with Wampa. Yeah, but like I said, we go in here and take them in, and do it really easily. Now, we do have to tackle Lord Vader up top, and I want to get that battle out of the way because I need to know if I'm going to burn a Galactic Legend there. So, this battle with Thrawn is actually very risky because if he fractures Bam pretty much right at the get-go, you just lose, and you don't have anything to show for it. So, luckily, our opponent did not do that. I really should be taking in a pre-taunt and not Bosk. I know Bosk seems to, you know, have better synergy given the fact that he's a bounty hunter and whatnot, but really, you need someone who's going to take that first initial hit in. So yeah, we go ahead and we keep using Bam here. Luckily, Thrawn, it finally takes a turn, so we lose the Fracture. So now we might actually have a shot at using our big hit onto Thrawn. The issue here is he has both defense and health up, which means even though Fennec does a massive amount of damage, he's not going to be able to kill him. So we get another Fracture on Fennec, and this is kind of bittersweet, because again, a Fracture on Bam is a game over. You do not win at that point, unless you have Grief to continually refresh to get rid of your dots and whatnot. And we don't have Grief, he's still R3 or something. But yeah, so we keep on doing this. Fennec eventually gets at a Fracture, but the issue here is, because this is being prolonged so long, because we're not able to kill Thrawn, we're not able to kill Royal Guard rather quickly, we're running into this issue where Lord Vader is going to keep gaining his ult, and he's going to keep stacking mastery pretty much to the point where he's just going to end up one-shotting Fennec if we don't do it long enough. And that typically happens somewhere around the 3-minute mark, at least in past experiences. So now we have to beat Royal Guard, and Royal Guard is actually tricky too. Even without the bonus buffs that he has right now, he takes a lot to get out. You typically have to stack some armor shred on him, and yeah, he's getting his cooldowns back to the point where he can just loop that kind of stuff. So Lord Vader gets 3 turns to our 1 and does one-shot our Fennec. So really the only thing we have to show for in this battle is the fact that we were able to kill their Thrawn, which isn't terrible. Like, I guess it's better than nothing. Now we go ahead and take in our our SLKR with Watt and armor. Have to be really careful with this one because ideally I want to have 3 stacks on SLKR. That way he can pretty much just never die. If your SLK is able to get 3 stacks of Beskar on him, that pretty much means that he can't be crit. He has extra defense, extra health, and Lord Vader just won't have a shot at getting to him. Because a lot of the stuff that Lord Vader stacks is offense, and then when he tries to multiply it by his crit damage modifier, it's just not there. So unfortunately, an armor does die. That was probably expected, though. I really would have loved to get armor shred on Lord Vader with her. We couldn't at the time because Royal Guard was kind of in the way. But as you can see, we're going to be able to get through him rather quickly here. And actually I don't hate Royal Guard being here for a quick second, just because when he gets stunned, we can actually steal or increase our mastery double. Whereas Lord Vader, we don't get to do that because, he can't be stunned. So we get our first ultimate here, and that's great. And now we're going to start charging up. This Lord Vader does have the datacron that allows him to get a lot of extra health and protection. It's part of being, I think, it's like a mini Galactic Legend unique. So that does make me a little weary. Like, he's going to be a lot harder to kill than the other ones. And maybe if he can be just weak enough that he can go back to like 100% health, we can actually just crit him and maybe he'll just die. But this is taking a while, especially without being able to crit on some of those hits. You don't build up Siphon nearly as quickly. So still not quite able to crit there. I think we do actually end up getting to crit some. Yeah, we get to crit right there, but it wasn't enough. We really need to do it with the big poke, and it really needs to be a little bit longer into the fight here. So again, we're getting him close, but now, I mean, his underestimated is also building up, so he's getting close to about 40 stacks there, which means he's going to be healing for a credible amount. Unfortunately, probably more than the damage we're going to be able to do, especially with the pretty consistent dodging. They'd have like a 12% dodge cron, which is not enough to completely end us, but it's enough to make the match very annoying. So yeah, SLKR still plugging away here, and at this point, they're both hitting each other really heavily. A lot of damage on both sides. They both build their mastery throughout the fight. We got dodged like 4 or 5 times there. That was very annoying, especially because these are the hits that matter the most, given that we've already built up our mastery a lot. Going to go ahead and swipe several more times to see if we can build up a lot more damage here. Went ahead and just went for the poke just so that we would know that we would be guaranteed to hit him. And yeah, at this point, we're just really just hoping not to time out. 15 seconds on the clock. Lord Vader almost has enough damage to one-shot us now, and we just barely at the end kill him with about 3 seconds. So 29 banners, but a very satisfactory victory nonetheless. So we're able to get through him. Now we were able to take our C solo versus Malgus. This Malgus did not have the cooldown increase ability where he could consistently increase our cooldowns and just pretty much permanently keep us from annihilating him, because that's really the only way that we're going to kill him. So we don't use the protection recovery here because we have doubt, so it's blocked. We don't have it now, we just have shock, and that's fine. So we go ahead and recover our protection there. This was a little risky just because the 2 sides both have ability block on basic. Luckily, we landed on the right turn and killed both of them because we were ability blocked, and then Talon went down super easy. So very easy 58 banners there. Trying to get through this bottom wall. I didn't want to spend anything too expensive on this Mon Mothma team, so went ahead and took on our Wampa. There is a little bit of risk of a timeout here if you don't kill Kara when she has her potency, or rather when she doesn't have her potency up. So I'm trying to time this round. Like, do we just kill her now? Like, no, let's charge up a little because Mon Mothma's about to go and she'll probably revive her anyways. So now Mon Mothma's not queued to take a hit, so we go ahead and just go for Kara and then just go for Kyle, and very, very easy win. To beat this Darth Revan team, I don't know if this is going to get everyone down, but I'm like, okay, let's at least try to get a few out, and then maybe we can clean Malak up with something else, because typically my counter to this is actually Vader, and we don't have Vader because we used him to kill Rey. So we were able to kill Set pretty easily. Didn't get any counters against Darth Revan there. That was a little lackluster. I would have loved for that to happen. So we're kind of stuck here, but I'm pretty sure we can still, as long as Lobster is not the last one to die, I'm pretty sure he has enough potential to kill Darth Revan, and he does. Darth Revan had a bunch of stacks of Ferocity. They killed Hux, so we still have the crit damage from First Order TIE Pilot there, and yeah, Lobster did a lot of work. So at this point, we're not really going to be able to get through him. I kind of like the debuffs of the second hit, but the like the basic would do more than, yeah, Malak just does Malak things, and yeah, we're not going to be able to get around him. That's okay. We can bring in another team to take him out pretty easily, which is what we do. We take in our JTR here. It's actually kind of an expensive team, but Malak, fortunately, Malak is not a very cheap character, so we have to kind of play this right. We're trying to get tenacity down in the right times, get the ability block, get the stuns. And this team just, it has a lot of crit chance, which I really don't love, because what this you allow Malak to just consistently Fury. Even when he starts to get into his later, when he starts to get farther down in his health, he's supposed to get a credible amount of crit avoidance, and it just kind of ends up not meaning anything, because JTR is still critting constantly. I even credit this to a mistake. Illuminated Destiny here. I'm like, oh, let's do Illuminated Destiny. That's, that's the win condition, and we're fine now. It gives crit chance up. So now we just crit him left and right, and he's constantly able to get back to his thresholds and whatnot, and it's just was not the right move for us. So still trying to keep putting healing immune on him. I think at some point we do get smart and start smoke screening our Jedi Training Ray instead of BB-8, because BB-8's like one Malak drain from being dead. So yeah, eventually we kind of get smart there. Keep trying to land the stuns because he's got tenacity down. Still keep getting feared even when he's in the red, which is really annoying. Can't really land a lot of our debuffs. I do actually just not do the Illuminated Destiny. I'm like, let's not give ourselves a crit chance. But then JTR, even without crit chance, gets it anyway. So I'm like, all right, just screw it. We're going to crit him. We're going to deal with it. And we get our 30 shameful banners there. And now I guess we're checking out his Stormtrooper Han before we nest it, because if it has too much protection, then maybe it'll be a challenge. But this is kind of why we mark Ackbar fairly low on the Omicron list. He's situationally good, but I still don't like, this Omicron with Stormtrooper Han and Princess Leia. It's a fairly expensive team. Like, I don't really have any of these characters relicked except Princess Leia at her base R of R3. And I just taken Nest to its character that I've had relicked for years now. I think 3 years. And she still just souls them for what is essentially full ban. It's like, we don't get protection back, but okay. There's just so many buffs. Our crit damage just skyrockets. Stormtrooper Han is dead pretty much instantly. And Leia does not, at least at this opponent's relic level, which I think she was relic 4, does not have enough DPS to even break Nest, even if she wanted to. So able to get a very nice 58 there. And then we go ahead and take in our Jedi to finish up this Maul team. Really, this was kind of a happy accident, because I had taken enough GLs to be able to get through his GLs, and then my Vader just went and killed their Rey, so we had an entire GL left over, and I'm like, okay, this is probably going to be the most problematic team. They have a pretty fast Droideka, and on top of that, Bam is there, so this could probably get annoying. I know there are other counters to this, but we had one Galactic Legend left over, so we needed to use it somewhere. Droideka ends up going to damage me. This is actually really helpful, because Jedi Master Luke can give protection back on the lead special, but it takes a long time to do because it's a very small amount. So luckily, Droideka stays in damage immunity for a credible amount of time, and we're actually able to get back to completely full protection on our sides. We don't really use the ult because it wouldn't get us anywhere. This is fun. This is kind of dumb, but this is fun. We go ahead and take in our Padme versus this Jedi Luke team with Gideon, and we're just able to delete Jedi Luke before the entire team takes a turn, which is pretty gross. But with him giving the amount of protection up that he gives at the beginning, 40 stacks of courage, especially that Jedi Luke had more health than he had protection, which I don't think that's the norm. And then Ayla really saves the day here, just consistently stunning everyone, even though Gideon, pieces out. This comp was pretty fun. So what I was saying before, I didn't like this guy's split. He broke up Starkiller, and he let us beat it with a like a non-galactic legend, and then he put his Vader, a level 9 Vader Datacron, the revive one, the really good one. He went ahead and stacked that with this team, and it really just didn't. Yeah, Malak just really hard counters us. Like, we've done this with a number of teams now. We think we've even done it with Dooku lead at one point. It's not that good on defense. Vader, very good tool for offense. Like, we beat Rey with him this round, but at the same time, I mean, my Trey is gear 12. We probably didn't even need her. The real piece here was Malak just stopping everything. And the reason why we went after Mara first is she's actually was the only character on that team who could gain turn meter, because since Palp and Vader are both Empire, we weren't able to get around them. The 2-turn stun wasn't great. Luckily, Vader does take us out of that quite nicely with his Merciless Massacre. And now we have 3 stacks of whatever Dark Realm Shadow thingamabob that he has. And yeah, Palp just dies now. Well, after he dodges, apparently. So nice 50 banners there against a pretty credible team. And now we go ahead and take in our Bad Batch versus this Adrad team. And I gotta say, they created Adrad's kit to be pretty darn good. He has, not even in his modding, like this guy's modding was good, but he didn't have Adrad modded for tenacity, but you can feel it. He had, like, I think has a base of like 130% tenacity, and we were just not landing exposed. And the Bad Batch has a ton of potency. We get it through Hunter's Lead, we get it through Echo's extra tech. We should have enough to be able to get through it, and we're just constantly hitting them and just not getting exposes. And the exposes aren't just to be able to get, you know, knock their turn meter down, but it's also for damage. Again, we're just double tapping, not landing any exposes. I'm like, okay, this is not good. We're not making any progress. He gets to his ult, and that's pretty much game. There's not much we're gonna be able to do to recover from that. We never also get a very good moment to strip all the buffs, and that's just not going to get through that team now. We have nothing that has the firepower to do it, at least not that we need elsewhere. So go ahead and take in our pretty classic First Order team versus this Nute team. Nute's really fast. I'm really kind of annoyed that people are still modding their Nute this quickly, because this counter actually is the one that becomes very hard to do if the enemy is a lot faster. But we're able to kind of make it work here. We cleanse off the whatchamacallit as soon as we can. Just really try to loop the 2-turn stuns, because if you can loop the 2-turn stuns faster than the opponent can loop extortion, you're going to be able to win. And we're building a lot of health with our First Order Executioner there, trying to get him back as much as possible. And this is, again, we're trying to give turns back to crew, and this was really bad. This is about the worst thing that can happen in a Nute team, is for them to land extortion and then for that a character to immediately be stunned. Because what that does is it just makes extortion spread like wildfire, and you just can't keep up with it. And I mean, that's exactly what happened. We're getting it faster than we can cleanse it, and luckily we had just enough, we had the timing just right that we were able to take out Magna with it, which is great. Like, okay, can we make the same thing happen with Django here? We get out Nute, or get rid of the first Nute, and then start hanging on Django. We're able to get the execute on him, which is very nice. And Fox just pulls a ton of weight here. Just very, very good. I do really like the full health on him. I think that's almost more for survivability than it's for his damage. Now we have to take out their own crew team on defense. And it does have the First Order TIE pilot, so that does add an element that's going to be a little bit of a pain here. Not to mention they have Xylo as well. So, like, this is a pretty decent comp, at least as far as, you know, crew and First Order go. Able to get rid of the First Order TIE pilot immediately, which is great, because that's where all the bonuses are. We can kind of deal with the rest. Xylo does have a lot of stacking offense from turn to turn here. We have to be careful about with everything we're doing. We're hitting them with a lot of tiny hits and a lot of debuffs. So we're speeding him up and giving him damage. And we have to just kind of wait for the right tag with Spy before he just whittles everyone down with his AoE. Spy is getting pretty close to getting back to his big hit. Xylo's doing a ton of damage. It's really not looking good. We're able to dispel the taunt, and a really, really clutch moment. We're able to just zap their Xylo here with our Spy. So now we're pretty much in the clear. Crew does not have enough damage on his counters or whatever to be able to take down the Geos. We just have to wait for the right time for our big hit, just knock out Crew and not have to worry about him. So luckily that does happen super quickly. So 52 banners on that match. That was great. We had to face this sortie. I think this is the first time I've faced sortie in 3v3, and I've heard Night Sisters work pretty well. Nubaka did scare me just a little bit, but with BB-8 there, BB-8 really does plague a bunch of favors. They just keep spraying it around like wildfire. And I'm like, all right, let's keep Nubaka controlled. I'm a little afraid if once we get enough revives and stuff going, the big hit is just going to level the entire team. It almost does, but it doesn't. And now I'm like, okay, so this is probably fine now. Daka's already stacked up a whole lot of health, and we can probably just use the Mother Talisman Deathstorm thing here. So we're just going to keep basking, gaining a ton of turn meter. Saj is going to keep gaining a bunch of damage. We're able to take out Chupu before Illuminated Destiny gets in, which is very nice, because then we don't have to worry about him having that big damage coming in on us. And now, yeah, that's pretty much all she wrote. If this was, you know, a Relic sortie, then we would probably need a Relic Asajj to be able to ramp up the damage. But it's not, so we're pretty much in the clear here, being able to constantly rip things off of BB-8. I mean, he's really facilitating the plague to himself as well. Get him stunned so he can't keep dodging everything, and then we're going to at least try to take out the JTR team up top. I'm pretty sure I can't full clear. The Adrad team really did a number on us, and the JTR's team is sitting there as well. I'm like, okay, this is also probably going to be a problem, but let's see if we can at least take out someone. If we can maybe get a kill here, then we can maybe burn it down with, you know, 2 or 3 teams or whatever it is. But yeah, the JTR team just does a number on us. So Fortunately, we're not going to be able to quite full clear them. However, it didn't matter because while we struggled on our opponent's defense, like I said, they struggled way more on ours. Just a lot of issues. So had to 3-shot our dash team, had to 3-shot our CLS team, had to 2-shot our Giant Luke. Awkwardly enough, the only team they 1-shot was Rey, so good for them. Qui-Gon also held, so he went. Opponent went through a lot of battles trying to get stuff down, and then ultimately ended up getting stuck on Lord Vader, which was very, very nice for us. Also failed against Gas once, so didn't get through as much as they wanted to, and as well got stuck on Executor, which, I mean, I don't even think we needed to. The fact that Lord Vader held the bottom pretty much, I think, guaranteed us the win. So that is going to be it for now, guys. Thank you guys for watching, as always. Remember to like and subscribe, and stay awesome.